friends, welcome to this very specific and special yoga class. It's a little bit different than my usual yoga classes. I'm not going to be taking you through an entire flow for something specific, but in a way it kind of is, just because we're going to be targeting poses that use straps, or poses that we can enhance using straps to modify whatever kind of needs that your body has. So today with me, I have a regular, just kind of yoga strap that I got online. And if you want one like this, I can link them below. This one specifically is from Aloe, but honestly, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can bring a towel. I grabbed a pair of leggings just to show you that if you have leggings, if you have pants, you can also just do that with that. I brought a kind of just kitchen towel to show you that it can also be done with this. Just really anything that you have around the house is great too. Just a belt, perfect. Kind of a bathrobe belt loop thing, that's also great. So I'll be using a combination of all of these just in case you have different things. But I just wanted to kind of show you the three things I have. You won't really need any other props aside from this and maybe a space on the ground. So if you don't have a yoga mat, that's fine. Just grab a towel, maybe bring some pillows just to cushion if we're doing something specific that might be kind of hurting any part of your body. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is shoulder flossing. You might already be familiar with this, and if you are, great. If you're not, we're just gonna start getting into it. So if you have a strap, just try to hold it wide. So in a V, you can start moving this around once we start to actually get into it. If you have leggings or something, try not to pull too hard on them to where you'll break them, just enough where you can feel this just kind of holding on the tension so that you can feel that this is the same position moving here and around and wherever we're going to be moving into. And then same with this. These are a little tougher, so feel free to pull on them. But whatever you have, try to find something that has a wide grasp, and you're going to just take your hands and as wide as you need them to go, take them out in front of you and hold on to the strap, and then start to take your arms up, over, back, around, and down. So this might not be accessible to a lot of people, and that's totally okay. This is even me practicing for a while, and this is even still a little bit of a struggle, but we all have the areas that are tight, and this is all about just bringing awareness and becoming aware of those areas that are tight. But just do this for, I'd say five breaths, being mindful of the movement. So maybe try to pair this with your breath, inhaling as you go up and exhaling as you go down. Inhale to go up and exhale back around. And if you find that that's easy and you're not really feeling too much of a challenge there, try to bring your arms a little closer together and closer together. Honestly, some people can even go like this and you just go up, back. And if you find that you can't go back, feel free to just, if you went too close in, just slide your arms back out so that you are able to get your arms back and down. So just a few more of those, or kind of going with your own breath. If you've already done 5, that's great. But do this as long as you want. I mean, I love doing it after work, after working at a desk or looking at a computer all day where my hands are in a forward motion, my shoulders are forward, looking at our phones. This helps just open up a lot of the chest and the shoulder area. This next one is a little bit of a more advanced yoga pose. It wasn't ever accessible to me until I started using a strap, so it still is pretty much the only way that I can do it, but it doesn't mean that you're not kind of working with your body. It doesn't mean that you haven't been working with your body. It just means that there's some areas that need specific love and attention. So the way we're going to do this is Gomo Konasana arms. Usually when we're in a cow-facing pose, the full extension looks like this, and then our arms are kind of touching behind our back, but as you can see, mine don't touch. And so there is another variation where you can do it active, but sometimes it's just easier to grab one of these if you just want a passive stretch. So what I like to do is we'll start with the right hand, hold it in the right hand, and bring that hand up and have the palm face backwards, back towards the back, and then fold that arm down, just as far as you can, but then grab onto that strap. And then take your left arm, take it out, turn the palm of the hand to face back as well. Take the palm of the hand to face outward, like towards the left side, and then fold it up. And then from here, just try to find the other strap. And then slowly, first taking a few deep breaths wherever you are. And then once you're here for a little bit, maybe start to work and walk your fingertips towards one another. And again, you can keep doing that, but I'm just gonna show you it with leggings as well. It's really easy. Go like this. And same thing with a towel, with really anything that you have. And then just breathe there, and then do the same thing with the other side. I'm gonna cue it just so that we don't forget to do it. Take the left hand, release your arms first of all. Release your arms down to the ground, relax your arms. And then take your strap in your left hand, take the left hand up, and then take the palm to face back behind you, and then just simply bend it back to maybe give yourself a pat on the back. Take your right hand out, palm facing back, and then take the palm to face towards the right, so outward just a little bit more, and then bend it towards your spine. And then once you're there, just grab on to the strap. Each side is going to be maybe a little bit different because we're stretching the chest and shoulders, but in different areas. So just depending on kind of what is tight. Just try to walk your hands towards one another. If you feel pain, just come out of it. Remember to listen to your body here. And then when you're ready, just release your right hand down and then release your left and take the strap just next to you. The next one I have is a side stretch. So we're actually going to sit for this one in a specific way. Take your legs out into a V. That doesn't have to be super far apart. Just the important part here is to keep your torso straight, so lifted. Bend your left heel in towards your groin. So we're coming into this half V sit. Flex your toes back, your right toes back, and we're going to take the strap this time here and put it around the right foot. So we're going to do two different variations here. One of them is a side stretch. So keep your hips facing towards the center, not towards either leg, like towards the center of where both of the legs are. And take your right hand, bring it onto your left thigh. Take your left hand up and over. And then if you can't reach your toes with your left hand, you're just going to grab, keep your hand on there, grab onto the strap, put it around your right foot, and then use that to just help reach over. And the point here is to stretch through the left side body, the left ribs, the left side muscles, the left abs and hips. Your right hand can just rest on your shin or your thighs. Inhaling as best you can here into your belly and your side body. And then you can slowly raise your torso back up towards center, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Left leg out, right leg in. And once again, put the strap around your right foot. Feel free to just grab on to the strap with your right hand if you want to now, but then take your left hand, bring it over to your right thigh or your right shin, and then take your arm up and over, and if you can't reach, feel free to grab onto that strap, or if you already have it, just take your arm up and over, feeling that entire side body stretch. A couple of inhale here is breathing into your belly and your right side ribs as much as possible. And then slowly release the strap, bring your right arm back over, and bring both of your feet back in towards center. Just kind of relax. The next one I wanted to show you is a warrior two. So bring your feet wide. Take your right toes to point towards the right side, your knee towards the right side. Your left toes are still pointing kind of in front of you. And then bend into that right knee. Try to line up the right heel with the inner arch of the back left foot. So kind of like an intersection. They're intersecting. And then grab whatever you have, strap, leggings, I'll use the leggings this time, and bring them back behind you. So kind of just wrap it around your waist. We're not going to leave it there. It's just to kind of grab onto it. Take your arms out into a T. And a lot of times we generally like to roll our shoulders forward, even if that's what we do, especially if that's what we do in a day-to-day. So for this one, we're actually going to walk our hands back on here to try to take this back. So it's kind of like the little V thing that we were doing earlier where you floss the shoulders back and forth. But we're taking them back, and try to take them back closer together as far as you can. If this is okay, then try to go an inch closer and then take them back. And you're trying to pull them away from each other here still, so very gently, just until you feel a sensation, helping to open up through your shoulders. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears as you do this. Okay, and then we'll do it on the other side. So turn your right toes forward, the left toes towards the left side. Left heel intersects through the back right arch, and then bend into that left knee. Your hips can be pointing either straight out or at an angle, kind of whatever they want to do for you here. Wherever you're at is perfectly fine. And then take the strap. You can either take it behind you this time, or you can try a little shoulder flossing here and just take it back. But remember to keep that left knee bent, and then bring the arms and the shoulders, the strap, just in line with the shoulders to keep the shoulders down. So don't have it like up here. Bring it down, and then gaze towards the left, I guess, fingertips, or where they would be, just in front of the left knee. One more inhale. And exhale, straighten out through that left leg. Bring the toes forward. Coming on to a seated position. Start to straighten out your legs. Send your legs forward. Slight bend in the knees here if that allows you to have your low back straight. We don't want to be rounding here in the low back or the upper back. So try to bend your knees here as much as you need to allow that not to happen. And then from here, you're going to take the strap and put it around both feet. Flex both toes back, both sets of toes back towards your face. You're going to inhale, lift the arms up, fill up your belly. And as you exhale, as you start to deflate that air, just start to slowly bend and fold at your hips, folding forward, prioritizing and just keeping that back straight. And then as soon as you hit that point where you can't go forward any longer, where your back starts to round, you stop there. And then this is where your straps come in. So a lot of people like to think that you have to touch your toes for this, and the whole point of this is not to touch your toes, because a lot of people end up rounding their back. It's to stretch through the back of the legs in a way that is truly stretching the hamstrings. Tuck your chin here to lengthen through the back of the neck. Then depending where you are, feel free to just move your hands forward or pull them back. Just a couple of deep breaths in this position. I think that's fine for today. On your next inhale, let that inhale inflate you back up. And that was a forward fold assisted with a strap. So if you're ever in a forward fold situation where you're asked to kind of just reach for your toes and you can't, or just touch the ground, a strap might be helpful here. Also, another common modification is using blocks. Now we're going to switch down into the lower half of the body. This one is going to be a little tricky. It is a little bit of a more advanced pose, but if you're willing to try it, willing to challenge yourself, maybe stand in your wall so that you can balance, because we are going to be balancing on one leg here. But this is going to be a dancer's pose assisted with a strap. So dancer's pose is usually something like this. Then you lift your chest, your hand can be down too, lift your leg, and it takes a lot of flexibility in the shoulder area and in the leg area. And kind of a more advanced version is taking your arms behind you to reach. Sometimes that can get tricky, so a strap does come in handy there. And again, maybe grab something a little longer this time, leggings, a strap works. just wrap it around kind of like the bottom part of your leg, your ankle, like this. And what we're gonna do here is start to lift that leg up just as far as it can go without interfering, without hurting your low back. Once you're here, you can start to take your strap into your right hand, and then take your, I'll do it this way, take your strap into your right hand, take it out, take your right hand out, and then back. And as you take it back, try to flip your grip so that your shoulder comes up. And if you need to do that, maybe closer to here, if you want to take it here and then up, that works. But we're trying to get our elbow to point upwards. And then once it's here, just slowly try to move down the strap. Whew. And then come down, take a break whenever you're ready. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Maybe you can see it a little better here. Grab the strap, put it around your right foot, ground down into your left foot, lift your left foot up, and then take your arm out to the left side. And once you're here, feel free to maybe take it up and in, but we're going to flip our palms up. And as I flip my palm up, take the elbow over to the left and up to the sky. Once you're here, start to lift the left knee up a little higher and maybe walk your hands back on the strap. Breathe here into your low belly, and again, feel free to let go. Use a wall near you to come down, walk your hands back up. Feel free to release the strap completely, and then just lower your left foot on the ground. So that is dancer's pose with the strap. We're gonna move onto the floor next, so get there in whatever way feels great. The next one we're going to do is pigeon pose, king pigeon. So if this is also more of an intermediate pose, but again, it can be accessible to anyone. And if you've done pigeon before, feel free to kind of do your own variation, whatever works for you. If you haven't before, you can feel free to come into tabletop position and just follow me this way. If you can, take your right knee to your right elbow, and you can have your foot down on the ground here. And then start to walk your right foot over to the left, behind the left palm, so like in line with the left palm. And then once you're here, start to lift the toes, coming onto the outer edge of the right foot, bringing the shin onto the ground, lining up the right knee with the right palm, and then it's going to come diagonally back so that the right heel is maybe in line with your left hip bone. And then once you're here, start to walk your left knee back. Another good variation, if you have a block here, I know we're not using block specifically in this one, but if it helps, you can just sit on a block, because we're going to try to keep our hips lined up, facing forward like two headlights on a car. And so I'm just actually going to keep that here. King pigeon is another variation. It's kind of like dancer's pose, where it requires flexibility in the thighs. And so before you start, feel free to just wrap that around, or even just take it around right now. Be very gentle with your body in this position. Be very gentle with your right knee. But once you're here, just let the strap hang. Just lift your left heel, bring it towards your left glute. See how that feels. If your legs are here, you can wrap the strap around your ankle, sorry. There we go. Wrap it around your ankle. And then once again, we're going to take the elbow out and up if that feels good. And then walk both of your hands back towards the middle of the strap, or towards your foot. Your chest is lifted here, but you might feel a stretch in your shoulders through your chest. Feel free to look up. Feel free to leave one hand on the ground, and maybe just use one hand to do the reaching back with. But once you're done, lower the left foot on the ground. Take the block out if that's what you were using, and then return to a tabletop position. Bring that right leg back. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. So bring your left knee towards your left elbow, walk the left foot over to the right side behind the right palm, and then come onto the outer edge of the left foot, lift the toes to slowly bring the shin onto the ground, but the knee up towards the left palm, and then the heel stays diagonally down towards the right hip. Lift your back right foot and walk your right foot back as far as you need to here. You might be feeling a stretch in your right psoas, in your left kind of outer hip. And again, have the strap close to you. This time I'm going to use the leggings just to kind of show you that we can do that too. And again, feel free to leave one hand on the ground. I find it easier to leave my right hand on the ground for this time. So kind of putting a little bit of support on the side that doesn't have support on the front, and then lifting up and going like that. So first, start to lift your right heel towards your glutes. See how that feels. Each side is going to feel a little bit different. If you used a block or if you have a block on the other side, feel free to put it just right underneath here, like this, for you to sit on it. I'm going to do it without one this time just for you to see. Your hips don't have to touch the ground here. And then bring your right heel, leave it up there this time. If you can, just try to wrap it around one side and then grab onto it. Lift. I need to make it even, or else it's going to feel weird for me. Bring your hand in towards your shoulder, and then elbow out and up, and then lift that right heel a little bit more. Lift that right arm. Feel free to lift the left arm too. Reach up, feel free to look up. Bring your hands back down. Bring your right foot slowly back down. Lift your hips, and then bring your left heel, left knee, left foot back onto the ground. For our last few poses, we're actually going to be laying down. So feel free to just come down onto the ground in whatever way feels good, whatever way feels comfortable. This is a happy baby variation. Take the knees in towards your chest. Make sure that your lower back is pressing into the ground, your lower hips, your upper back, your shoulders are pressing into the ground as well, that your whole torso is flat. And then from there, open up your legs, open up your knees, and then aim your knees kind of down towards the mat in the space kind of next to your torso, next to your sides. From here, start to slowly peel the heels away from the hips, lift the feet, lift the heels. Your toes are going to point down towards your face. Feel free to bring your strap in, and if you need to kind of move your feet around, you're just going to need to put the strap around your feet like this, and then return to kind of that straight line, 90 degree with your legs, so shins are in a straight line, and your thighs are aiming, trying to pull down towards the ground. And so what we're going to do here with the strap is try to pull the legs down lower, but keeping the shoulders grounded. So sometimes teachers will cue to grab onto your outer edges of your feet, and if our hips aren't that warmed up yet, we could be reaching our arms up towards our feet rather than pulling our hips down towards our body. So this allows your shoulders to be relaxed to make sure that they remain on the ground while still being able to access your feet to pull them down. And whenever you feel a sensation that stretches your hips, you can stay here, you can pause here and breathe. Breathing into your low belly. Try to relax your upper body, relax your shoulders. Try not to grip through your shoulders. And then gently bend your knees, fold your feet, your heels closer to your hips, and then relax your feet onto the ground. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for letting me practice with you and show you how to use straps or variation of straps for your yoga practice. If this is something that you found helpful or useful, please leave me a comment or a like, or send to anyone who you think might enjoy it. And then please also subscribe to my channel. That helps me just kind of know that you're there, that you enjoy these things, and you'll get notified of any new videos that I come out with. So thanks again, and I will see you next time.